if the things you throw away could grow into something beautiful? This is Verdant Dreams, where forgotten trash becomes garden inspiration. Today's video dives into DIY trash garden ideas, real, doable projects using items you already have. Use the timestamps to jump to any idea that fits your space. And if something sparks a question, drop it in the comments. We're here for you. You don't need fancy tools. You don't need a big yard. You just need a little heart and a fresh perspective. Maybe I'm just a voice in the background. But behind this channel is a real home. A real family. Every like, comment, and subscribe, it helps keep this dream alive. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing in small beginnings. Along the quiet stretch of a backyard fence, where forgotten boards once stood bare, now grows something surprising. Not rows of roses or tidy hedges, but grapevines, full and stretching, rooted in nothing more than repurposed plastic bottles. This vineyard doesn't require acres of soil or a hillside view. Only vision. Bottles once meant for a single drink are now lined along the wooden fence, carefully cleaned and painted in tones that whisper autumn, sage, rust, soft cream. They are mounted horizontally, each cut to cradle a vine, each filled with life-giving water. Inside, the grapevines unfurl. Their tendrils twist upward with purpose, wrapping the fence in green. Small clusters of grapes begin to form, tight, pale green, and shimmering beneath the late sun. It's not a vineyard of scale, but of intimacy. A vineyard where each plant is known, where each bottle holds both past and potential. At their base, a carpet of color softens the edge, chrysanthemums in violet and gold, sedum in coral pink, and asters dancing gently with the breeze. Bees hum low among the petals. The air smells of leaves, fruit, and cool earth. There is no soil. No weeds. Only clarity, bottles of water and light, vines and care. This is a vineyard made not from wealth but from intention. It speaks of those who see beyond waste. Of those who find beauty in the structure of a bottle, the curve of a vine, the way green can climb when given a chance. Here, against the backdrop of cottage flowers and hand-painted wood, grapevines grow with quiet confidence. The fence becomes a frame, the bottles become vessels, and the garden becomes more than space, it becomes a story of revival. Beneath the shelter of a rustic bamboo pergola, where filtered light dances through the slats and the breeze carries the sweet scent of blossoms, strawberries now sway from the sky. Above, rows of plastic bottles hang gently, suspended from natural jute rope, each one reborn with purpose. Painted in the faded hues of an old cottage garden, pale mint, dusty lilac, washed cream, they no longer speak of waste, but of wonder. Inside each bottle, roots float freely in clear water, nourished by sunlight and care. Strawberry vines spill over the cut openings, their leaves vibrant, their blossoms delicate, their fruit, plump and red, dangling like promises. The pergola becomes more than structure. It is canopy and cradle, a trellis for dreams and harvest alike. Below, the ground flourishes in full bloom. Aster petals scatter like wild stars. Chrysanthemums nod in golden plum. Japanese anemone catch the wind like silk sails in a breeze. It's a harmony of utility and beauty, where fruit and flowers share the same space, peacefully, colorfully, abundantly. There's a bench tucked beneath the vines. A place to rest, to watch, to taste the garden from above. This is not farming. This is poetry with plants. No soil, no mess. Only floating roots, flowering vines, and a quiet revolution hanging gently above your head. A pergola turned produce aisle. A space once ornamental, now overflowing with edible art. In this garden, the line between beauty and practicality disappears. Every berry picked is a reminder. Creativity grows best where we let it, sometimes from the simplest things, like a bottle of water, a touch of paint, and a little belief in what trash can become. Along the quiet edge of a small patio, where morning coffee is often sipped and soft conversations drift into the air, a quiet row of green begins to flourish, not from soil, but from water, light, and reclaimed purpose. Lined along the railing, a series of plastic bottles, once clear, now dressed in soft tones of sage, cream, and coastal blue, stand at attention. Each bottle is gently cut, carefully cleaned, and filled with clean water, now cradling the roots of leafy greens. Crisp lettuce. Smooth pak choy. A bit of arugula, perhaps. Their leaves lean outward, catching light and lifting gently in the breeze. They grow not from the ground, but from intention, from the belief that even a bottle can feed, can flourish, can beautify. Below the railing, color blossoms in low harmony. Marigolds in sunburst yellow, asters in violet haze, mums echoing the rust of fall leaves. Together, the greens and blooms create a space both edible and elegant, a visual meal as much as a real one. There's no digging here. No garden beds. No mess. Just simplicity. The bottles blend into the rhythm of the space. They hug the line between structure and softness, between utility and design. They make the patio feel alive, like it, too, is growing. This is not a grand design. It's humble, achievable, real. It's a way to bring food closer, to remind us that nourishment can come from the unexpected, that even a railing can become a garden if we let it, that beauty and function can grow side by side, with nothing more than water, sun, and a little color. In this garden, the railing becomes a frame. The bottles, its brushstrokes. And the lettuce? A quiet, green signature of revival. Sunlight touches the wall like a spotlight on a stage, one that now hosts a performance of growth, color, and quiet ingenuity. What was once a blank backyard wall, flat and unremarkable, now breathes with green life and vibrant red fruit. Rows of plastic bottles, once emptied and forgotten, now form the backbone of a vertical hydroponic garden. Painted in tones that echo the earth, ochre, moss, clay, they blend with nature, not against it. Inside each bottle, water ripples quietly, holding roots that drift like underwater dancers. Above the waterline, tomato vines spill outward, full of energy. Leaves curl toward the sun. Clusters of cherry tomatoes, glossy, red, and firm, hang like ornaments waiting to be picked. It is a wall reimagined. A canvas turned edible. The contrast is beautiful, the hard lines of concrete softened by curling vines, the old plastic reborn with painted flowers and function, the red of tomatoes bright against the pale sky. Below, the base of the wall is wrapped in blooms, marigolds that glow like firelight, mums that nod with weight, asters that peek between. There's no soil, no clutter, only purpose. Each bottle carries its own rhythm. Each tomato tells of transformation, not just from flower to fruit, but from trash to treasure, from forgotten to functional. A small garden table nearby offers a moment to pause, to watch, to dream. Perhaps pick a few tomatoes for lunch, still warm from the sun. Perhaps just sit and be reminded, beauty doesn't always grow from what's expected. Here, on this garden wall, creativity finds root in constraint. It thrives not in wide open fields, but on small, vertical spaces made meaningful by hands that choose to make something new. This is not just a wall. It's a living statement. It begins at the border, the gentle threshold between the world and a garden. A fence once plain, now framed with intention, painted with purpose, and planted with care. Lined neatly along its base, upright plastic bottles, hand-painted in soft cottage hues, blush pink, meadow green, buttercream, stand like a row of cheerful guests. Each one holds water, roots, and life. They are no longer waste. They are welcome. Inside the bottles, herbs grow in tidy grace. Basil reaches upward with glossy leaves. Mint fans out, fragrant and full. Thyme tumbles gently over the rim, its scent caught in the passing wind. Their roots float in clear water, visible through the bottle walls, an unseen world made visible. And between each bottle, bursts of color bloom. Marigolds in deep saffron and gold. Chrysanthemums in burgundy and snow white. They create a rhythm, green, bloom, a pattern that feels both deliberate and spontaneous. The fence becomes more than a boundary. It becomes a stage. It's where beauty meets practicality, where food meets flower, where the ordinary meets imagination. It's a place where every inch matters, where small things are allowed to shine. Children pass by and pause. Neighbors slow their walk. Even the bees seem to linger. Because this border does more than divide. It invites. The herbs offer fragrance. The flowers offer joy. The bottles offer a quiet reminder that something thrown away can frame something worth cherishing. No grand gestures. No expensive materials. Just plastic, paint, and care. Just a fence, a plan, and the desire to grow. In a world of excess, this small border speaks of balance, of sustainability, of elegance, of hope planted bottle by bottle. And for those who pass by, they see not trash, but a tiny garden wall where color, scent, and purpose bloom side by side. At the entrance to the garden, where paths begin and eyes naturally pause, stands a simple arch made of bamboo, quiet, handmade, and alive. From its curved frame hang strings of bottles, swaying gently with the wind. Each one tells a story of transformation, once discarded, now filled with water, color, and new growth. Painted in rustic hues, weathered clay, garden sage, and softened rose, they glow against the golden tones of morning light. Inside, herbs and leafy greens emerge. Pak choi with wide, confident leaves. Basil curling upward. A few bottles spill marigold vines, their yellow-orange faces catching the eye like flickers of flame. Others hold mums in deep fall tones, adding rhythm and richness to the arch's frame. This isn't just a garden entrance. It's an invitation. The bamboo feels honest, strong but humble. The bottles, though recycled, now feel delicate and intentional. And as visitors walk beneath, they are brushed not only by leaves and petals, but by the quiet awareness that this arch is made with love. Beneath it, the gravel crunches softly. Around it, asters bloom, and butterflies hover near the flowers. The arch doesn't shout, it welcomes. It whispers a story of care, of reuse, of beauty rising from what was once waste. This structure, though simple, brings height to the garden. It draws the eye up, makes the space feel larger, richer, more alive. It gives meaning to the passage beneath it, not just from one space to another, but from one idea to another. That trash can become art. That function can live in harmony with charm. Here, the bamboo arch becomes a moment, a pause in time where form, function, and feeling meet under one green canopy. And every bottle that hangs from it is proof that gardens don't have to start big. They just have to start with belief. Tucked into the quietest corner of the garden, where shadows linger and the breeze whispers through old wood, a small structure stands with purpose. It isn't glass. It isn't metal. But it grows, protects, and nurtures just the same. This is a greenhouse made not from panels or panes, but from upcycled plastic bottles, each one holding life. Framed in reclaimed wood, the bottles are stacked like living bricks, painted in soft shades that echo a cottage garden, moss green, powder pink, chalk white. Inside, leafy greens float gently in water, lettuce, pak choi, herbs whose names roll gently off the tongue. Their roots dance inside the bottles, suspended in a system so simple it feels like magic. The corner is quiet, but not silent. Bees hum near the base, where asters bloom in purple stars. Chrysanthemums raise their heads in calm, assured color. Sedum adds shape and depth to the flower bed that lines the structure. It's a moment of pause in the garden. A space of nourishment, both practical and poetic. There's no door. No heat lamps. Just light, water, and care. And yet, within this modest wall of bottles, life thrives. It's a greenhouse not for show, but for substance. For those who believe that gardens don't need grandeur. They need heart. Here, even the smallest space becomes sanctuary. Even waste becomes structure. Even plastic, when handled with love, becomes part of the cycle. A single chair nearby invites rest. A place to admire the gentle verticality of what's been made. To see lettuce growing against a backdrop of marigolds. To feel the air shift around a garden corner that's no longer forgotten. This is not just hydroponics. This is harmony between reuse and renewal, between utility and beauty. And it all begins with a bottle. Beneath the sloped roof of a backyard gazebo, where the light dapples through lattice beams and the air smells faintly of mint and wood, something subtle draws the eye downward, not the ceiling, but the base. At the feet of each gazebo post, a circle of color blooms, a handmade wreath of upcycled life. Plastic bottles, once tossed aside, now stand tall and proud. Painted in cottage tones of soft green, creamy yellow, and faded violet, they form rings around each post like floral bracelets. But these are not just decoration. They are living planters. Inside, water nourishes roots that dangle freely, clean, quiet, and unseen. Above, the growth bursts forth. Basil with its spicy sweet leaves, oregano curling outward, and clusters of marigolds, mums, and asters painting the scene with gold, burgundy, and blush. The gazebo becomes more than a resting place. It becomes a center of growth. Each post, once purely structural, now feels alive. It holds not just the roof, but a living halo of scent and color. Visitors may sit beneath the shade, sipping tea or reading quietly, while the soft hum of bees and the sway of flowers create a gentle soundtrack. This is gardening without rows, farming without fields, beauty without waste. Even the smallest details, rings at the base of a post, can hold so much meaning. They remind us that no space is too small, no material too plain, no function too humble to host a garden. Around these rings, life continues. Fallen petals rest on stone. Leaves twitch in the breeze. And every glance downward is met with something soft, fragrant, and intentional. It's not just a gazebo anymore. It's a garden room. A meeting point of comfort and cultivation. And it begins, not with a blueprint, but with a bottle, some water, and a belief that beauty lives in circles. In a quiet corner of the garden, where every stone has meaning and every plant knows restraint, serenity begins, not with grandeur, but with intention. The space is small, framed by bamboo fencing and a floor of raked gravel. Here, simplicity reigns. A single wooden bench holds a line of horizontal bottles, reused, repainted, repurposed. They are not brightly colored. Their tones are muted, ash gray, pale moss, the off-white of river stones. They do not demand attention. They belong. Inside each, roots glide silently through water. Shiso leaves curl gently upward. Mint releases its clean scent. Thyme gathers low like a mossy ground cover. These are herbs, yes, but they are also part of the form, part of the flow. They are living sculpture. Around the bottles, Japanese anemones sway like silk in the stillness. Chrysanthemums rise with quiet pride. There is no chaos here, only balance. You hear the wind, not through leaves, but through the garden itself. The hush of gravel underfoot. The rustle of a single petal falling. This isn't a place for tools or tasks. It's for observation. For breath. The plastic bottles, once lifeless, now hold purpose without disrupting the peace. Their transformation is so subtle that some may not notice. They simply blend into the rhythm of stone, wood, and green. Yet they serve. They feed. They grow. This corner teaches that beauty is not only in boldness. It is also in restraint. That function can be quiet. That sustainability doesn't have to shout. It's a garden where every detail matters, and where even a recycled bottle, thoughtfully placed, becomes part of the meditation. Against a simple garden wall, a rainbow takes root, not from paint or lights, but from strawberries. Real ones. Growing from water. Hanging from color-coded bottles, each one whispering a different variety, a different sweetness. The bottles are mounted in rows, each hand painted with intention. Soft red for the classics. Pink for alpine delicacies. Cream green for the white-fruited surprises. Yellow for golden berries kissed by the sun. Together, they form a vertical map of flavor and color. Inside each bottle, clear water cradles the roots. The leaves rise in soft waves. The vines stretch, lean outward, and carry berries like jewels, some crimson, some pale, some nearly translucent. The eye follows the line of colors, the heart follows the promise of taste. Below, marigolds echo the yellows. Anemones mirror the pinks. Chrysanthemums bloom beside the reds, and soft blue asters peek between. It's a carefully balanced composition, a harmony of edible and ornamental. There's no soil, no digging. Just a wall that now breathes life and offers fruit. It's more than aesthetic. It's a story of variety, of celebrating the unseen differences within a single plant, of recognizing that even strawberries, when given space to shine individually, can become a gallery. The wall becomes a tasting tour, a living art piece, a place where children point and neighbors pause, where flavor becomes visual and gardening becomes playful. And behind it all, bottles, once discarded, now part of something beautiful, purposeful, and alive. In this garden, color is not decoration, it's intention. Flavor is not hidden, it's displayed. And trash is not the end, it's the beginning.